15. Today is Friday, June 30th, and I am here with Ricardo, and we're going to kind of do and the reason I'm doing this is learned and keep learning and do the same home to do. So this class was last week and I canceled it and therefore it's here today. Today is Friday, June 30th. And the subject is going to be the foundational model and MREA. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading and just a little bit on the subject. I don't know how long the recording will go, but in a few minutes, fine. I'm sure everything and anything that I share is going to be an added value. I'm going to try to keep it for the 30 minutes. Learn about the subject. He would be wanted of the summer. Find yourself and again, pick up a copy of the book. AKA the last page of Bible. So there's a lot of nuggets in here. As I reviewed for this lesson, I see a lot of things that can help in the area of mindset. You know, there's 8 areas that you think different. And one of those is mindset. This is the primary as I review. So, the author that is very important, he is the founder of Television Community, and some of you may know when I know. So I think surrounding this book was done. William was really based on this book. And that's what I'm bringing and transferring and attempting to transfer here to the culture of campus real estate in United States is to help the agents build their business based on models, based on mindset, based on tracking and generating growth. So yeah, I hope that every one of you are able to join me and refer to see as many of you here and that's doing worst case scenario, let's listen to the recorded video. So we'll just start here about page 35, modeling the question. But Gary Cohen said that mindset is life, forever change his thinking on what he believes a person is capable of achieving through their God-given talent alone. So each and every one of you are talented. The moment you were conceived and brought into this world, you know, you may not know what those gifts are, you may not have nothing down. And this is something that I encourage each and every one of you to find out. What is your gifting? What are you talented at? What gifts did God give you upon being conceived and coming into this world? And those things, then you add the other training, like skills, you know, whatever it is that you're passionate about, then add to those, talents that you were told. Well, as you said, a person is capable of achieving or better events in his life, whatever changes. Reading here, it says, and you might be wise to slow down or just and figure out what they learned from their journey before they start. So this is what he's saying to you that he went to school thinking that he knew it all, and a professor in college told him, hey, you need to slow down. You know, what you're going to do, doesn't mean that someone has not done some of you and done before. You need to take a back seat, take a step back, and slow down and just figure out what you learn. That's part of you. Here's have done in order that you could either replicate it or duplicate it. Add your own, you're all creative, you're all creativity, to what you're telling to do. And especially here, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We want this world and move around and we have a long career in decisions that we can wish that and wish and hope that all of you will have a long career. So, this whole self the other day, and said, I got a process that and I said, yeah, we find there wasn't a little ball there. So continue on there and said, Professor told them that you might be wise to slow down to figure out others, learn others, before you start. And they're kind of saying, I listened attentively and thought I understood what he was saying, but I wouldn't really hear him for almost a day. So for almost 10 years, out of his life, this professor told me, but it wasn't his after. Later on, I'm going to share a little bit about my story. Now, here, this topic here on the bottom of page 35, America said that I was in here, so here's another foundation that I hope that we as I coach you, as I help you build your business, this is learning based. Okay, and one thing is you need to be a leader because leaders are leaders. Sharing with an agent yesterday, something the five philosophy, the number one business leadership rule in the world. My name was and he said that as one of the figures to leadership property, it said the highest form of leadership is self-leadership. What does that mean? That means that you lead yourself. You grow as much and as often and much as possible. And you become the best that you're able to become. So here's something that I share with everyone. If all of you could bring here on the top of this phone, it's, and this is something that I wanted to say, it's not about the money, it's about being the best that you could be. Okay? So again, be the best that you could be, and one of the ways that you can be the best that you could be is by being learning things. Okay? So again, Barry Keller said that, and that year was the year that he read A Limited Power by Anthony Muhammad, and he finally heard his professor that basically he heard the echo of the professor told him that people have lived before you. And that was what Roberts was saying, and Roberts made that point in a very powerful way. So he goes on to share 4 passages from this book, Limited Power. And passage number 1 said, long ago I realized that success leads to that people who produce outstanding results do specific them to create results. So in essence, you need to take action. Whatever it is that you're doing, especially here in this real estate business, you need to take action. Passage number 2 says, actions are the source of all results. This process of discovering exactly and specifically what people do to produce a specific result is called modeling. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. This moment forward is to model others who have been successful, who have gone on. One way you could do that, and I think the best way and best for that on that is take this book, buy this book, and invest
In the time, or I bought like 6 books. I bought it on Walmart. Online. Yeah, online.
for having the and here you're going to learn the models, you're going to see the stories. And again, this book was written, I would say, no, 20 plus years ago. Was I was at Kenneth Williams Sporting years ago. This book was written. So I would say about 2 years ago. Okay. So so read the stories here. At the end of this book, you're gonna see the and that's why, we share in and the stories and their models and what it is that you can in order to become on the level. Passage number 3. To me, modeling is the pathway to excellence. The movers and shakers of the world are often professional modelers. People who have mastered the art of learning everything they can by following other people's experience rather than their own. So I'm going to take a pause here. And yesterday I was here in the office, and I'm going to use Ricardo as an example. We had an appointment, accountability. And I believe on the following that we would have an accountability session on Thursday. Now we know about the schedule. And we came in about the spirit, after we and we went on, we was doing stuff. We brought that down to the yeah. And then we have a small and I told him, if you buy into the policy, I'm sharing, I'm encouraging, I'm training you. You're going to get into $8,000 the road 3, 5, 10 years from now, you're going to sit down And you're going to go and no matter what is going on, you don't have to worry about would not have to worry on where the next speech. Why? Because you have the skill, you have the work ethic, you're consistent, you're autonomous, you have systems, you're a strong mindset, you have high management, you have don't have a lead that makes you out today, it's like once tomorrow, one the next day. And you're gonna be over the rest of the afternoon. I want to see your meeting that we're talking about this new generating model. There's a couple hours to tell you how the interview from OPSI and investor. So why do I say this? Because if you do the activity are going to produce food from areas that that you were not thinking of to achieve my dream. And being that he is in the moment, he's working every day, he's prospecting every day, he's following up every day, he's open to an opportunity. On Wednesday, he was here with me, man. We're part of my company, we want to become best friend. Part of this, we have in the moment, being I was open for business. One of my pastors called that they wanted to visit a property that I sold them, that they wanted to lease. Immediately, that was my final phase. We got a final conversation with her, and I just went through the process. I said, okay, this is what I need to do. This is the process. Yes. But I say on that the system. You need to be in the proper mindset. So I just wanted to share that as far as the part of modeling is that happening to act. And again, the holders to take a little while about professional models, people are mastery art of learning anything they can by following other people's experience rather than the one. Passage number 4, and that's from the book, says to model excellence, you should be a detective, an investigator, someone who asks lots of questions. Let me pause you. Ricardo, I'll read yourself. What is selling?
Selling is asking questions. Selling. Asking.
So here on the flag. Tomorrow, excellent. You should be respected.
You were not muted, okay? So let me go back. So again, to model excellent, you should be a detective, an investigator, someone who asks lots of questions and tracks down all the clues to what produces excellence. Building from the successes of others is one of the fundamental aspects of most learning. So here's a big aha that Gary Keller had. It says, I then slowed down just long enough to start looking in much greater detail at what successful people were doing. And he goes on to say, it has been my goal to actively, aggressively, and continuously model the real estate business for its owners and agents. Again, he's talking about the owners from the franchises and the agents that are under those franchises. So now continuing on, the key to modeling others is to learn all that you could and need to learn. And then add your creativity, your creativity. I was creating a new word. I'm sorry. The Webster's dictionary will not find it. But you need to learn and then add your creativity in order to model, duplicate, and replicate the success of others, but in your life and space. What I mean by space, your work space, your work area, your business. All right. So let's continue reading here. At the same time, I do not think it would be a mistake to discard creativity. The trick to getting the most out of our creativity is always to start with a set of proven foundational models for success. Once we find success with our initial models, we can then allow for creative thinking, but only after we follow the models do we allow ourselves to tweak, innovative, refine, and fiddle until the models work to the level of our expectations. The key to taking this approach is to avoid placing creative innovations ahead of the effective implementation of proven foundational models. So there's another element in this process, and it's called humbleness, humility. But I like this word better, being coachable. So the question is, are you coachable? Are you willing to learn from those who have gone before you? Are you willing to to pay the price, basically? That's what paying the price is about. And it takes humility, it takes humbleness, and being coachable and acknowledging that you don't know it all. You could bring your experiences, your current experiences, your current business experiences, your history, which life has shown you, but that's only a part of it. Okay. You need to model others in the business and in the industry that you're working in. And especially in the real estate industry, in the sales industry. I've shared this before. I must have invested, if I were to add all the time that I've invested in the past 20 plus years, training, reading, going to seminars, it's in the thousands of hours. Dollar-wise investment, it has to be close to 50,000 if I were to add it, and if I were to take all the receipts, not that I have them all, but all the money that I have spent in trainings, just recently in the past 5+ years, I've invested almost $15,000 becoming a John Maxwell certified leadership coach. And again, that's why I feel that I am qualified to be able to share what I'm sharing with each and every one of you. Not that I know it all, and not that I've done it all, and not that I have $1 million sitting in my bank. No, I'm still working at it. I'm still paying a price. But again, I feel that I'm a better person than I was yesterday, and a better person than I was a week ago, and a month ago, and a year ago, 5 years ago, 10, 15, 20 plus years ago. Because why? Because I've made becoming education based, learning, better said, learning based. All right. So let's continue here. There's a figure here on this book, and if all of you are still following me after I promised that I would be 30 minutes in this training, I'm already 20 plus. I know I could be long-winded, but hang in there. Okay, we're gonna get through this lesson. So if you're there following through, and I was gonna ask you, take that piece of paper there behind you, Ricardo, or the one that's there. Turn it over. Okay, and each and every one of you, yeah, just turn it around. Okay, because I'm gonna have you do an exercise here.
Oh,
So what I want you to do is write two triangles, right? One, take a piece of paper and just create one triangle the way you normally would do it, okay? And then write another upside down triangle. In other words, the pinnacle on the top, turn it upside down. All right? And now I want you to write a line halfway through the triangle. On the right triangle, on the one that is the traditional triangle, which I want you on top of the line that you wrote, put creativity. And on the bottom, you're going to write the word models. So notice on this triangle that the bottom is the one that's really the foundation of the triangle. And that's what I want to convey here, that your foundation needs to be the models. So that's the bottom. Now, if you do the same thing on the other one that's upside down, write models on the above the line and write creativity on the bottom. And what do you think will happen if you try to stand that triangle? It's not going to be balanced. It's not going to stand, right? If you take a triangle, why? Because you have creativity as your foundation rather than models. So that's what I want to convey in this illustration, that look at it as a triangle with the models being the foundation and then the creativity above it. All right. Now, the reality about using models is that if you begin with creativity and then try to add a model, or if you try to add creativity to a model, you haven't fully implemented. You risk rendering the model completely ineffective. The truth is that when you add creativity to a practice and proven model, you will always have a much greater chance of achieving your highest possible results. Continuing on page 38. This has been my mistake. If I could say one was, I look back at my real estate career, I could say that one of my mistakes has been that I am a creative person. And I found myself for many years reinventing myself every year. Again, because I'm always seeking to learn. I'm, constantly going to trainings, anytime, someone has a good training idea or a good model or something, I try to, implement it. But that was my downfall. Again, I found myself at a point that I was recreating myself on a yearly basis. I've had to do away with that. And that's what kind of, that kind of happened over the last 5-7 years when I became a John Maxwell certified coach. There's a book that he wrote, the 15 laws of growth. Okay, so there's two things that have hindered me. One is the perfection gap. There's a law there. There's certain laws. One is the perfection gap. And that's that I wanted everything to look perfect. And before I launched, I invested in myself and I tried to make it as perfect as possible. And that was a mistake. That's cost me tremendously. And then the other is about this that I just shared about being and trying to invent myself and recreate myself on a regular basis. So what I would like you to learn is, and if you could, take what I'm sharing with you, is just, find a model, follow along, imitate it for a period of time, and, just make it work. If it's been successful for others, then it'll be successful for you. All you need to do is kind of tweak it here and there, but don't try to reinvent the wheel on a regular basis. So that's what I would like to share on that subject. So reading from page 38, it says, I strongly encourage you to accept what they have learned to be true, and then by applying these models. Use their successes as your own launching pad. Reinventing the wheel every time is just plain exhausting work, and it leads to breakdowns and burnouts. On the other hand, I think you'll discover that modeling will be very empowering. In fact, it may make things appear so simple, it feels like cheating. Powerful models usually feel that way. So here's another element that is part of this. And I'm going to wrap up here within the next few minutes. I'm going to keep it close to 30 minutes. So think of ceiling. Okay, so just picture yourself. You're here, you're wherever you're at, reviewing or listening to me, listening to this recording, that there's a roof, there's a ceiling here above you. You could only go so far. Okay. Now, your natural ability is only going to take you so far. Okay. By your talents, your natural ability, you're going to, reach that ceiling. You're only going to find a breakthrough when you apply the foundational models. Okay. And then you break through. Now, once you break through, then you continue, but now you reach another barrier. Okay. And now you need to figure out, okay, what's keeping you? What's keeping you from breaking through? What is that ceiling? So now you have to improve on those models. Now you have another breakthrough. Okay. And now you achieved a new ceiling, but there's always ceilings. You could always go higher. You could always go farther. You could always improve. You could always be better. But remember that there'll come a point in time that you reach a ceiling, and you need to figure out a way, how am I going to break through that ceiling? So I'm going to wrap up here. Going to continue reading here a little bit more. It says, in my experience, people tend to predict success based largely on a person's natural abilities. This can truly be problematic no matter where you see yourself in the spectrum. Lots of natural ability can lead to overconfidence. Likewise, lack of natural ability contributes to low confidence. So much that so many never even attempt tasks that appear to be outside of the realm of their natural abilities. That ought to be a big aha, okay? Because sometimes you see things and you're going to hear things from me that you say, Joel, coach, that doesn't make sense. I cannot see myself doing that. I cannot picture myself doing that. No, it's because you're looking at it from your perspective, your limiting beliefs, your limitations. Okay. But the truth is that the truth about ability is that it is neither set nor predetermined. However, it can be developed or it can be wasted. Okay. So it's something that you could learn. Okay. You were not born with it. You did not inherit this skill. Okay. So again, your gifts and talents, those you were born with, but the ability to break through and finding and getting to that ceiling and breaking through, that one needs to be you need to learn that and you learn that through the models by applying the models. Now, natural ability can take you only so far. No matter how gifted we may be, each of us will eventually hit our own ceiling of achievement. There is no if to that assertion, just a when. So the most important achievement question you may ever have to ask yourself becomes, when I hit that ceiling of achievement, whether it is low or high, how will I break through? Okay. So again, the question is, how are you going to break through when you hit that ceiling? Now, going back here to what Gary Keller was saying, is what I've discovered is that by starting with models, you can push your ceilings higher and eventually break through them. But even great models will have limitations. So eventually you'll hit a new ceiling. This is when I encourage you to start adapting the model. Don't abandon it, adapt to it. Okay, it's not adopt, adapt. Okay. Once the right amount of innovation is added, you will more than likely experience another breakthrough and move forward. That is the cycle. Each improvement will have its limitations, and sooner or later, you'll have to tweak your model to ensure your continued progress. So the trick to having breakthroughs in your life is to adopt the right foundational models. In our experience, these models need to be as big and as ambitious as you can possibly find. So I'm going to end here. I want you to think big. And as you think big in this business, what is your big why? And based on that, let that be your motivation. Thinking big, what is your big why? What are your limitations? And what are you going to do to break through those limitations? Again, those limitations could be your limiting beliefs, okay? Could be your level of awareness, all right? Part of my role here and as your coach is to give you and ask you breakthrough questions. Just as I shared with Ricardo, and as I asked Ricardo, selling is not telling, selling is asking good questions. So part of my role here is to ask you questions, certain questions to raise your level of awareness. And as you develop in this business, as you grow, other levels of awareness will come. Here's a great example again, Ricardo. Ricardo, from the day that he walked in here a couple months ago, 2 days of him walking into this office, he found out about the farmer's market. We asked him, hey, do you want to participate in a farmer's market? He didn't even question. He said, yeah, I'm there. And Ricardo was there every single farmer's market that we did from April through the first week of June. Ricardo invested 3-4 hours, and sometimes he did double shift. He didn't question it. So again, the question for you is going to be, when you hit that ceiling of achievement, whether it's low or high, how will I break through? So with this, I thank each and every one of you for listening in. And until next week, this is yours truly, Coach Joel Malian. Take care and God bless.